Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Coffee Talk special series around the EU Pay Transparency Fast Track. We're going to talk a bit about everything that's inside this EU Transparency Act, around 7 or 8 nuggets you are getting to sort of have a look what's happening. And today, I'm very proud we have a special guest to talk with us about beyond base pay, about the fair benefits. So Tarciso, you're here with us. I'm glad to have you. Who are you? What do you do in your daily work?
Hello, Henrike. Good morning, and thank you very much for having me here to talk about benefits. It's a topic that I have dedicated my whole career for that. In fact, my name is Tarciso Nogueira. I'm originally from Brazil, married. I started my career working half of my career, more than 10 years in consulting companies, Mercer, Willis Towers Watson in Brazil. Then, after a long time in consulting, I decided to change to the other side, to be part of one of my clients at that time, and to starting taking care of compensation benefits at local level. Then I took over the position as the head of HR, where I stayed for 4 years in Brazil. Then I decided to move for having a more international career and having a view from the headquarter perspective. So I moved to the headquarters of the company in Cologne, where I stayed for 2 years as responsible for global compensation. And more recently, in the past 3 years, I have been working for Henkel in Düsseldorf as responsible for global benefits.
Wow, I would say for benefits, you're the perfect person because you've seen it sort of from all sides. Maybe we start with a question about what do you think counts as a fair benefit, also thinking it from a global context, and how would you ensure there is a consistency about fair benefits across countries?
That's a very good question, Henrike, and a very good point. Because in fact, first talking about fairness in general, when we're talking about these, I would say that initially it came to the mind of the people fairness about salary. That is in general the most visible part of the compensation of people, and I would say salary and the bonus schemes as well. And then people don't think too much about benefits because in the end benefits are not that very visible for the employees, and the employees understand that. And in the end, the main purpose of benefits is in general to protect employees in a certain specific events of their life that usually they will just have the idea that how they depending on that when they need to use that. So for example, if you think about a retirement plan is something that people will just use in many years in the future. So sometimes they are not really putting the importance in that. But when you think about financially for the organization, benefits represents a important part of the cost of the companies with the people. I don't know. In fact, I have never found a precise number about that, but basically what I have seen, I would say that usually global organizations are spending 10 to 20% of their personal costs in benefits in general. So
it's a lot.
We can say it's a lot. So, and then when you think about fairness and benefits, in fact, we have always a discussion about local and global philosophy. In the end, when you think about benefits, we are always talking about country level because in general, benefits are addressing sometimes lack of coverage in the social security systems. It's covering some specific situations, cultural aspects in the countries. So it's really difficult to think about benefits in the global perspective and say, okay, I'm doing this in a fair way. In the end, when you think about global, for me, it's more about how you design, how you connect the principles of the organization, principles about care, about protection, about opportunity to the people, with what they need to have in their real life. In the end, for me, the way that I see benefits, it's a way to give the people, give the employees the peace of mind that their families are protected against certain misfortunes in their life. This is the way that in general we see benefits. And how the organizations... go ahead, sorry.
Okay, no, I just wanted to sort of check in, how would you see that, how would you make sure that you don't create some kind of indirect discrimination when doing that? Probably that was just what you had on your mind.
Yeah, so when we think about creating indirect discrimination or not in benefits, it's a very interesting topic because in general, when we think about these principles of benefits and why benefits and how benefits are offered in the countries. As I mentioned, usually they are connected to coverage of social security benefits like retirement, health, life insurance, and also sometimes how even the local government incentivize the companies to provide benefits, offering some tax benefits for the organization. So it's depending on the way that the companies offer that, and normally benefits are strictly regulated in the country. But of course, as we say in general, the devil is in the details. When you think about these potential indirect discriminations and benefits, we're talking about eventually medical plans when you have waiting periods for newcomers that are coming from an external country. More and more, for example, it's happened in some countries that you have as a practice to offer to have a kind of waiting period for people coming from abroad. So it's a kind of small discrimination that you have. So, for example, it's something that when you have a different coverage for part-time employees that are not reflecting, okay, you not offer a part-time employee exactly the full benefit for a full-time employee, but somehow it should keep some kind of prorata to a full-time employee, and not that is something that is 0 or 100% of the benefit. And the topic of the part-time employee is very interesting because, for example, it's connected in mostly case, part-time employees are women.
Yeah.
Women returning from maternity leave or women because they need to take care of the kids. Majority are women, is statistically when you think about that. And in the end, if it's something that you're not offering, despite of, you can say it's a fair coverage because all the employees in part-time employee have the same coverage, it doesn't mean that it's not reflecting indirect discrimination. So this is a very sensitive topics. Another topic also, it's sometimes what they call the social aspects of coverage. For example, when the companies decided to centralize a provider for the medical plan, and in a specific location where you have an operation, this provider doesn't offer a good coverage there. Don't have good hospitals. These are aspects that, of course, we are offering a fair benefit, but it's really, really fair. For example, this topic of the medical plan in my home country in Brazil, sometimes you have that when you have a headquarter in one of the major cities like Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo, and then you have a production operation in a city in the interior. Mm-hmm. You take care to have a good coverage for the people in the administrative office, and when you see the same provider, it's not good at the location where the production people are really living.
Okay, yeah. So okay, that's interesting.
Despite of having same benefit, fairness, it's really fair.
Yeah. You really have to question your benefits from different angles to check if they sort of have some pitfalls, you could say. And once you've done that, how do you integrate those benefits into total compensation, and how do you communicate this actually clearly so employees and managers understand that?
Yeah, I think this honestly, this is still a challenge in benefits. And when I participate in some benefits forums with my peers in different companies, having comprehensive data about benefits is still challenging. Benefits are also by nature very spread on many different providers, vendors. Also, if your benefits are not processed via payroll or any other integrated any other tool, in the end you don't have a complete view of that. Mm-hmm. And I think that more and more the strategies for benefits, and for example, what I'm working on this right now, is really trying to integrate benefits at the first of all at the data process, to have really an integrated way to collect and to have a complete view of everything that you have about benefits, and also implementing and then especially when you're talking about the communication to the employees, trying to more and more centralize everything about benefits in a single source of information. Having a kind of benefits hub where the employee not only can see all the benefits that they are entitled to have, but also to facilitate to the employee the access to the benefits. Also, many times talking to employees, talking to my colleagues in other companies, a typical complaint from the employees is that for them, when they need to find something, it's really complicated. So I think more and more what the company should be worried about is really how I improve the experience of the employees in terms of easily find the benefits and access them as well.
Yeah. So it's all about, okay, you said already you are tracking data in a different way, making it more accessible and everything. What would you say is important? How would you monitor also the eligibility, the uptake, the equity of benefits, that everybody would actually take the same benefit, or that some benefits are just taken by men maybe and women don't take it and you don't know the reason for that? Do you track that, or would you track that somehow?
We are tracking that somehow. And in fact, there is an aspect that I think connects the aspect of the communication to the employees and this tracking as well, that more and more, and a lot of companies are investing on that, on having this total rewards statements covering not only salary, bonus, but also giving the employee transparency about how much companies are investing in benefits. I think this is a very important tool for the employees at the first step, because especially when you're thinking about people making decisions about staying in the current job or moving to another company, normally they are comparing the most visible parts that are, again, direct compensation. And eventually they are missing something in benefits because they don't have really clarity about what is covered and how much it's really valued on that. For example, pensions as well. As I told you, pension is something that people are not really seeing that often, for example. I think this is a way to connect that. And the other aspect of this, and not only see how much you as a company are paying for that, but how people are making use of that. So it's basically measuring the utilization of the benefits and trying to really split this utilization and in different layers, looking for the utilizations by location, by different types of contract, types of employment agreements, by gender, by job level, to make sure that in all levels for all benefits, not only people are they have the benefit, but they are also making use of that. So make sure that the company, the investment that you as a company are doing in that are being really used by the employees and appreciated by the employees. In fact, for a long time, and there is still a long discussion in benefits about how to measure the ROI of the benefits, the return on investment on benefits. To be honest, I have never seen a company doing this in a very precise way. But it's something that you at least need to try to put some connection on that. And for me, also one important aspect on that I would say that many times companies avoid because it's complex, creates expectations, and so on, is to listen to people. In the end, you are offering the benefits for the people, and a way to track if it's good or not is trying to do some kind of post checks with the employees to really measure the perception of the employee about the benefit and try to really capture, because all the time also we are talking about that is the first time in the history that we have people from 4 different generations in the same work environment. So we are still operating mostly in this one-size-fits-all approach. But I think more and more with this listening of employees, you improve your capacity to really make the adaptations and make the change and the benefits in the direction to reach the needs of the different generations. Because the different generations, they have different perceptions of benefits. They have different family arrangements. It's not the same, the new generations and the old generation in terms of the family arrangement. So this is a typical case that offering the same benefit, again, is not fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Coming to the end of our little nugget on benefits, would you have, apart from the many that I've heard already, but like one more pitfall or something where you would say avoid it, or practice to recommend to others to sort of copy paste or to really reflect on as a last benefit suggestion?
Yeah, I would say that one typical practice in benefit in HR is to rely completely on a benchmarks approach, to take the benchmarks from the major consulting companies about what are the market practices. Benchmarks, of course, I rely on benchmarks and I use they in my daily life at work, but also benchmarks for me, they are a compass.
Yeah.
they will give you the direction. But how you approach the needs of your own people, you need to understand your organization, your culture, your principles, what the message that you really want to do. Because in the end, your people, they will have a better engagement or not if they believe that what we are doing is connecting, what we are offering is connected to what is your purpose, what you say that what is the walk the talk. So if you say that you are a company that care for your people, that you are a company that diversity is important, if it's not reflected in your policies, you lose everything. So you need to create these connections. Yeah. So, for example, also a typical topic right now, it's about sustainability. Companies are talking about reducing emissions and so on. So you need to, and in the end, you need to review the way that you offer company cars.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good one.
This kind of connection is something that you need really to take into consideration in design benefits and in designing fair benefits as well. So make sure that you are creating this connection between the company purpose and the benefits that you are doing, that you are offering at the local level. So of course you provide this global guideline. In general, global guideline is connected to, currently in the market they are calling this a lot of the global minimum standards, but it's basically really to say that, okay, for me as an organization, I send the message that the mental health is an important topic. So I need to make sure that in my policy, I'm ensuring eventually a minimum number of counseling sessions to make sure that my people are able to use that, and not only say, okay, I offer a medical plan, I offer EAP, and I really don't offer the things that are the real need of people. Yeah, I think this is the important part on that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tarciso. There was so much in this coffee talk. I thank you very much for joining this special series that we have on the EU Pay Transparency Fast Track. I think about benefits, everybody who's listening in should be now having a lot of good ideas to really start to look at their own benefits. And thank you, Tarciso. I hope to see you again on another round.
Thank you, Henrike. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.